Good afternoon, everybody. I see people are beginning to join us now. It's 11 o'clock a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Where I'm at in Atlanta, it's just past 2 o'clock p.m. We appreciate you coming in today. Going to give it just a couple more minutes. Let the late stragglers come in, but we're only going to give them a couple of minutes and then we'll get started. I'll repeat this announcement as we get ready to start on the front end of the recording of the webinar. There is a Q&A tab, of course, just like every other Zoom call everybody's been on. So as we progress through this, there's a lot of slides. As a matter of fact, I noticed there's probably more slides on this presentation than there has been on any other webinar that I've done since being with WS Display. So there's going to be a lot of technical information. So there's probably going to be a lot of questions. Use that Q&A button to type in whatever you'd like to ask. We would appreciate if you would keep those questions to product related. But if there's something that you need to know outside of that, feel free to ask as well. I see one question that's a good question already. Yes, this will be on demand. The question is, will you be sending out the slides and audio after the webinar? It is being recorded as we speak. Of course, it'll be edited for presentation and eliminate a lot of the small talk that I'm doing right now to give these extra participants time to come in. Probably about a little less than 1 minute, we'll get started, but yes, we will have it on demand and we can get that out to you after completion. It's a good question because having the slide, the deck, having the audio that goes with it is a good tool to answer questions about the product. As a matter of fact, there are probably, as we wait about another 30 seconds, there's probably a lot of these webinars that are on YouTube right now. I should group them together, and as people are looking for those, be able to share that with everybody. So just about 15 more seconds and we'll get started on this presentation. Appreciate you being with us here on this. It's a Tuesday, I believe. Tuesday morning in the Pacific and afternoon on the East Coast. So we get ready for May. Man, time is flying. And we're going to get started here with this WS Display Origami Portable SEG Truss webinar. I'm Mike Morrison. I'm the National Sales Director for WS. Know many of you out there. Hopefully you know me to this point. This is a product, little housekeeping before we get into the deck. This is a product that we actually introduced back in, I want to say it was August or maybe even spring of 2016. Actually, it was fall. It was Printing United. We launched a product that was called Origami Truss. And the product actually at Printing United won Product of the Year in regards to the type of product it was, especially being a truss. For those people who are veterans in the display industry, know that truss had its run for many, many years. And then, of course, now it's basically used for lighting and very limited applications and hanging for lights and some types of header applications, but it's kind of rare. This product is really going to be a great addition to the WS Display offering for many reasons. It's about 50 steps past where it was 8 years ago when we won that award. So very excited to share all of this information with you today. So let's get started. It's called the Origami SEG Truss. We're reintroducing it again, and its basic structure is a 6-inch by 6-inch by 6-inch four-sided folding truss. And this is going to redefine, as you see there in the text, display systems for several reasons. We stuck with the name, but we did add the SEG aspect to it. Everybody knows that silicone edge graphics. And now, instead of having a suspended graphic solution that we had 8 years ago, it's an actual SEG snap-on solution. It's really easy to work with. And on top of that, it's going to have a ton of accessories that you're really, really going to like. It's going to elevate, as it says there, your display, make it a very unique offering. Here's a view of that same booth, which is an actual configuration we will sell from WS Display to show you how it goes together. It updates, and the fact, as I mentioned, it goes from a pole pocket suspended graphic solution to SEG graphics. It folds flat, which is huge for storage for your clients. It is a tools-free assembly. It uses thumb knobs, for lack of a better word, screw knobs that you can use your finger and thumb with to attach each truss together in the configuration. I will mention at this point, if you want a cheating tool, they sell zip drills that I call them zip drills. They're little handheld drills that you can put a Torx head into it, and you'll make it even faster. But it goes together very fast in a tools-free method as well. As it says there, the dye-sublimated silicone-edged graphic solution is what we're using for graphics in our new product. And it is available, as we mentioned, in standard as well as custom configurations. We do have configurations that are suggestive, and we'll talk about those in just a few minutes. And you can order these graphic package, which is complete, the hardware as well as the graphics, hardware only, as well as repeat graphic print solution. And there are a ton of accessories available, as I mentioned. So let's get right into the crux. And I'll use my arrow here to kind of point things out for you. As I mentioned, 6-inch by 6-inch, 4 sides. All 4 sides measure that dimension, or 15 centimeters. If you're very metric, it's 150 millimeters. And when you collapse it, as you can see here on the upper left-hand corner, it drops down to 2.4 inches tall. Now that's very advantageous when you're stacking these together in your box or your case in order to ship it. Takes up less room, and it's very strong. You see here in the next, it's a iron frame, a metal frame with a durable black PVC coating. So it's very rugged, and we'll talk about load bearing and everything else in just a second. Another great thing about the new version of this is it comes in 5 different sizes. Everything from, now you'll notice from an imperial measurement standpoint, it is just shy of what we consider standard imperial sizes. 30 centimeters comes to 11.8 inches. We're going to call that a foot. 60 centimeters at 23.6, obviously 2 feet. 3 feet on our third version at 90 centimeters. 120 comes up 47.2, obviously 48 inches, and then 60 inches, or 59 in this case, at 150 centimeters. So you've got 5 different sizes that you can basically Lego together, bring them all together to create the length and the custom build, or the build for the configuration that you're wanting to build. They're only available in black. You can get them in black, black, and black. So those are your 3 colors that comes in. And your truss profiles and your cube flat connectors are compatible with the original Origami Truss. We noticed at Exhibitor, there is a company now that's US based that is selling the old version. So if anybody has either our old version in stock, or also if you're ordering from them and need accessories to match it up, we do have that available because it does marry the older size. Origami Truss Cube connector, that is the heart and soul of this particular product. Everything works off of this 6-inch by 6-inch by 6, as we mentioned, tall, wide, and the other dimension as well. All 6 sides of the cube connector are threaded, and they can receive the threaded screw knobs that you see here and here, which is how this marries into the cube, and it's 6 directional. You've got north, south, left, front, right, and bottoms, as you see here. So 6 ways you can connect this to go 6 different directions. And the cube connectors are compatible with all of the Origami Truss profiles. And so think Legos. That's pretty much the best way we can describe this, is how it goes together. So it's very easy, tools free again, or you can use a little small hand drill to put it together in a rapid fashion. But this is also a CAD version, isolated, to show that these 2 sides are already connected, but the arrows show you how it all goes together. There's basically these nubs, or mail, if you will, that go into the holes in the connecting cube, and then you use your thumb wheel in order to tighten them, 4 of them, to make a secure connection. and you just bring them all together as you see here. This piece right here is very important. This is what we call a flat connector. I call it the splice piece. This is necessary if you're bringing two ends of truss together to formulate a specific length. So if you're trying to create, just for example, a 5-foot length, and you want to do it in multiples, obviously you use a 2 in the middle, 1 on either end, you've got pretty much your 5 feet. But you use this piece in order to attach the ends together, as you see here. This one will come up from this direction. This truss piece comes down and makes that connection. This will sturdy up and make everything solid on the splice piece. So both sides of the flat connector are threaded. They're female, so they can receive the threaded screw knobs that are in each ends of the truss that will connect to the plate in order to make a one solid piece. The flat connectors are compatible with all of the lengths of the truss, and only one flat connector is needed per connection. So if you got two pieces, only one of these is necessary. And then here's another isometric view of how that goes together. You've got the flat connector piece here. Thumb wheels are coming in and connecting in both directions, and you create, actually this piece is what the final piece would look like. So accessory wise, you have the cube, as I mentioned, pretty much the heart of this, the flat connector that I mentioned for splice pieces. The feet are very advantageous when you're trying to build a custom display. We have a small foot if it's a no load bearing or a short distance run, if you will, of the connections and the configuration. And then if you've got other pieces that other accessories that would load bear with load bearing considerations, we'd use a larger foot. This one goes out from both directions of the middle and gives you more stability each way. And then we do have our own truss LED light, and it goes together, as you'll see on the next slide, with this bracket that connects to the top of the truss, snaps in with these grooves. And then if you are familiar with the VESA pattern female for the wall washer lights, that's what this is. It will accept the light that you just saw in the previous slide in these grooves and can go double-sided. You can wall wash down one side as well as the other. We've also added from WS a Vail 120 dB. Everybody's familiar with that as our standard profile for our light boxes, double-sided light boxes. We've added connectors so that we can add light boxes to this truss. That makes it very customizable and very attractive with the backlit solution. We also have shelf connectors, MDF shelf connectors for shelves that we can add to the truss. As you see in the photo, we also have a monitor bracket with connecting pieces. So you can add up to a 32 to 55 inch monitor onto the truss. And even better than that, slat walls and shelves that you can add, both flat at an angle or vertically in order to accommodate slat wall accessories. A couple of isometric CAD drawings of this and how it works. You see the connections coming in with these clamps and a stop that will also hold the load bearing on the shelf here. And you can attach both sides and have a shelf in the middle of the truss configuration. You can angle the shelf with these accessory brackets. And then we would also run them vertically in order to create a slat wall application. So you got a lot of versatility on these products to create shelving as well as slat wall. Here's an actual picture from our facility of the Vail 120 dB light box inside of a truss configuration wall here. Now, here's the beauty of this. But before I say that, here's your connecting accessories. You've got your connectors here, your Vail 120 profile here with your lights, edge lights that go here that you see at the bottom of this screen. But you bring it all together and float it inside. You can also wrap this truss so it's not seen. You have accessories in order to be able to completely cover the face, the sides, and the rear of the truss. So that's a nice selling point within this product line, is that it's not necessarily all front lit. It can be backlit as well. And then what you see here is the connectors that come through the truss and into holes that are drilled into the Vail 120 dB, which then connect inside. And then you snap on the SEG accepting snap-on profiles, their PVC profiles, and then you have the SEG groove in order to place your graphic. A variety of SEG channels are accommodating this new product, everything from single channel. You've got the double channel SEG for collecting a graphics, wrapping around and then catching it back on the other side in the different sizes. And then, of course, you got a 180 straight where you're bringing in a graphic from one direction here and then another one here, and it connects together to continue on in two directions. So you, like I said, several options for your graphics, and it's just as easy as snapping it on the tubing of the truss in order for it to connect. Another graphic that shows the CAD version of this. This is where the snap-on pieces go on this tube that goes around the perimeter. It's mitered here in the corners. So your SEG runs all the way to the end and makes easily that 90-degree turn to continue down. And then, of course, and there's another exploded view of that snap-on SEG, and there's the SEG channel to accept it. And we also have a version that snaps onto the cube itself to connect and catch graphics as they're coming from multiple directions. Here's a very important, what happens when you bring truss into a corner like this, and you want to have distinct graphics that finish in the corner independently. We've got a receptor of a corner snap-on that will accept that. So the SEG goes down, makes the 90-degree turn, and goes down with this SEG frame, this truss, and then we do the same thing with the one that butts into it. So you don't have any kind of overlap with that. You have clean corners with the truss, with this particular, this truss right over here, this truss accessory for the SEG. Configurations. This has always been an interesting anomaly to me over 24 years in the game. And I call them, if anybody's known me for any period of time, they're butt packages. I like that, but I need this, 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 and this, and not necessarily everything you have in the configurations. However, there are customers who will sell these just as they are, but you have the ability to take these and have a starting conversation with a client who then can tell you exactly what they're looking for, but they love the visuals. So we launched, as you could tell here, 6 standard configurations for 20 by 10, 20 by 20, and 30 by 20 inline and island booths. So we can look at those individually. This booth here, I actually have photos from Printing United. This was our exact setup that we utilized, and we got tremendous reception for the product because of its dynamic tall tower looks, the bridge that comes across. You can, of course, add a monitor if you'd like, or a couple of monitors. We had the graphics that wrapped around, started here and wrapped around the corner. We removed this piece here, or this horizontal in the booth, and that was a walkthrough to the other side, which is where you see the back view here. We use that as a bridge to walk through from one side where we put our portable products, and on this side we had our custom products at Printing United. It was very advantageous, and you see all of the specs on this and what's included in it. Show site labor is recommended mainly due to the height. In most shows, you can't bring ladders in. At least the large venues discourage that. They want you to use labor for that. And so in this case, we would obviously use show site labor, or at least recommend it. Little shorter version of the 20 by 10 here, 20 wide, 10 deep. This was somewhat similar to what we utilized at Exhibitor Live in Nashville just a few months ago. And we had a little wider bridge here instead of the smaller version in the center, but still a very doable booth with shelving on both sides. And then, of course, you got graphics wrapping around a big, tall island type of goes 12 feet in height. Wall washers and lights, got a counter that can go with that, and a rear view, especially if it's an inline application. You don't necessarily have to have graphics, but you could use double-sided graphics in this one, but this configuration does come with single-sided graphics. 20 by 20 island booth, very compartmental, gives you different workstations, which are pretty cool. Storage with the case counters. What I thought was interesting about this was the header just sitting on top as opposed to being suspended in the air. We all know the cost of putting suspended hanging banners up these days. So if you can assemble this on the floor, lift it with ladders, and then set it up on top, or as we see, recommend show labor to do that. Should not be that hard to do. Gives you a lot of workspace and a lot of private areas in this configuration. This would be a great one for people who are trying to work in different stations. On a 90-degree 20 by 20 platform, what's cool about this, you see in the overhead or the offsets, you know, you've got a rear set of graphics and then front protruding graphics, a little bit of storage possibilities behind that, and it wraps around with a header that's zigzag as well. And just a lot of nice different look than your traditional booths are. And here is a 30-foot wide by 20-foot space that has basically a rear offset back here with shelving, could be slat wall, some storage area back over here. Just, you know, like I said, all of these are just suggestive packages. I believe it's the last one, 30 by 20, with a monitor mount. It's got bridges that have some graphic capabilities, walk under capabilities, entrance areas. I do like the diagonal back wall here. That's a kind of a different look, offset look. Would be really cool if you did the light boxes there. But it comes in as a front lit application. That's another, once again, another Origami Truss configuration. So templates. Every package that you see with us will have a set of templates that work for art and graphics, as you see numbered here and identified accordingly to make it easy to get your artwork in. Obviously, we do the same thing with custom builds of this, but just to keep it simple, we do help you with that. The front mount graphics install on the front frame, reverse mount graphics install on the back of the frame with the graphic facing forward. So you'll learn all of that as you learn this product and how it works. Back up a little bit. And at the bottom of the template guides are notes on how to name your file. So our graphics production team, that's important. Make sure we get the right graphic for the right home. The last thing we want to do is to print 10 in place of 8 and vice versa. So communication there is important. They are manually proofed. This is treated as custom builds, not the quick proof program that many of you may be familiar with as far as the portable products are concerned. This slide intrigued me a lot, but it's true. I actually have a photograph of our old production manager standing vertically on one of these vertical uprights in a custom build. And he's probably about 160 pounds soaking wet. And like I said, I still have the photo of it, but we did testing here for load bearing. And as you can tell, if it's one continuous non-spliced spread here, the distance of width here, it's 130-pound dead load weight. So that's pretty impressive for steel tubing and PVC coating. If it is spliced, as you see here, there are it's a 44-pound load at the dead weight center, which we all know is the weakest point of the configuration. So good to note, especially when it comes to monitors or lighting or third-party applications, what you can and can't hang. At least you got some guidance there on what you can expect from load bearing. When it comes to graphics, we use two types for this configuration and this product. It's black and white fabric, or what we typically call the black fabric. It's non-backlit, gives you an opaque backer to block out ambient light. And then, of course, for the light boxes, we would use a dye sub backlit fabric. It's all dye sublimation. As many of you know, the finishing SEG size that we use as standard is 12 millimeters by 3 millimeters silicone. And if anybody needs samples of that, we'll be more than glad to get that for them. This is an important note. All Origami Truss configurations are shipped palletized LTL. There's a lot of pieces, so therefore it goes currently into a box, cardboard box, palletized and shipped accordingly. The accessories are also boxed and palletized. Standard UPS ground, 3-day, 2-day, and next day air shipping options are not available currently for this. However, the small parts and graphics can ship UPS. Important note, a custom Origami Truss flight case crate is in the works. We should have it available in the near future. We're still finalizing that for the direction. So all of that being said, like I said, that's a lot of slides and a lot of time. I think kind of rushed through it kind of quick and gave you a lot at one time. The Q&A is open. I see that there a lot of the 6 questions have been answered. Is there any other possible questions for this product that we can answer here at the end of the webinar? Don't be shy. It really is not a hard product to put together, to take apart. Like I said, I got spoiled with a little hand drill that makes it easy. These are a good question. I'll answer the first question there. They are available for sale in the configurations. So what I suggest, I hope I don't step on somebody else's question, but I'll piggyback it with another obvious question. What if it is not a configuration, but a custom build? You might actually have a frame build that you might have issues with on price that you might be able to get competitive with this particular product because it's a lighter weight. It's easier to use, and clients are concerned about drayage these days. Both instances, both custom as well as the configurations, are available at this time. And all you have to do is just shoot it over to my attention. You see my email address here on the screens, Mike@WS Display, and I will make sure it gets into the hands of the people that need to see that. What's the approximate price for an 8 configuration? I don't have a square footage price on that and the reason why, it's a good question, but the reason why is how many accessories are we adding to it? Are we going to dress it up with shelving and slat wall and maybe a light box? So a standard 8x8 really is not doable typically because of the different amount of accessories that would be needed for that. So what I would ask is that if you have a design in mind, shoot that over to me and let me take a look at it. We'll give you the best possible price that we can give it for you. Pricing all over the place for them. Well, probably goes back to the accessories at this point. What I can do is take a look at off on a sidebar. We can talk about which one you're interested in. Let me see if I can at least find out why the price is more with one than it is the other. But my guess would be, not looking at pricing directly since I'm focused on the webinar, it's probably accessory based reason as to why that might be the case. So I can certainly look at that. Let's see what else we got. Oh, I see what the problem is. I couldn't roll down. I couldn't scroll down. As opposed to standard aluminum truss, what percentage weight savings does Origami offer apples to apples? I think it's going to be substantial. To be honest, a great question. Aluminum truss has so much metal in it and weight that not only should you be concerned with the cost on an apples to apples basis, but also the fact that the drayage, if you're using it in a trade show application, is going to be astronomical in comparison on an apples to apples basis. Again, I would say that also, and this is very important, Bill, to mention as well, you have to look at your application. The Origami Truss reconfiguration to an SEG was primarily made for that. It's a graphic truss. It's not a box truss. It's not a what I call rock truss. You know, when you go to the concert and you see all of the heavy lighting, stage lighting that supports that, you could probably get away with some of that with this one. But the purpose, the main sole purpose, not sole purpose, but main purpose of this truss is to give clients and resellers an opportunity to win bids on the fact that it's going to be cost aggressive in comparison to metal truss. So that's my answer to that right now. I would look at a case-by-case basis for the design in order to give you that. But I can guarantee you, if you're looking at tri-truss or box truss from a 100% metal steel application, you're going to have tremendous savings. By the way, box truss and rock truss and tri-truss can't give you SEG solutions. So keep that in mind too. It's a branding tool. I'll wrap up with this. A man who I've known in the industry, unfortunately passed away a few years back. One guy I respected a lot made this statement. I think everybody in the design world would agree with this. Whether it's frames, whether it's stick extrusion, whether it's this product or any hardware when it comes to a display, is nothing more than a glorified 2x4. And when you put it all together, you're holding graphics. You're trying to promote the brand of the product or service for that client or whatever the message is. A long time ago, it used to be the shape of the extrusion or the shape of the profiles. Now, more than ever, it's all about controlling hardware costs so that you can have a price aggressive solution for your graphics. So that's how I will probably wrap this up with. I look forward, by the way, to talking with you as we progress further in the development of this product. We will be adding, as I mentioned before, the case solutions, flight case and everything for that you can stack easily the truss into, and then make shipping a lot easier. But it is a developing product. It is available now, and I'd love to talk to you about your current or potential future projects with the Origami Truss. So once again, Mike at wsdisplay.com. We've taken a lot of your time today here at the end of April. Hope you're having a good spring, and let's welcome May in tomorrow, and let's try to sell some displays out there, and primarily sell the ones from WS Display.